Been doing other stuff.
Oh, let's do some retweets. Ben Ramsey's been picking on me. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to that. He's a mean person. I keep telling you guys he's mean. I keep telling you. Yeah, that was our exchange. I'm sorry, that's the wrong link. Wait, no. Yeah, that was the wrong link. Here's his. That was my response. Here's his link.
You just scroll up. I did see that back and forth.
He's a bully. Who's tapping?
It's my dog for crying out loud.
I thought somebody was tapping on the mic.
No, my dog is just over here chewing on a bone and won't stop.
That's fine. Let him chew on his bone. Shouldn't get between a dog and his bone.
Alrighty, you ready to go?
You gonna be able to share your screen or no?
Yes. Share screen.
Get Zencaster going.
Yes. There you go.
Rock and roll. You want to play your music a little bit?
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go.
Woo!
Yeah!
I would be hyped up now, but I didn't hear it. I'm just saying.
You're listening to episode 249 of PHPUgly, where we promise to be more informative than a cyber symposium held by a fellow salesman, and we will also try to be more truthful. I'm your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me is John Congdon.
By what kind of salesman?
Hello, salesman.
Wow, that was way too loud.
Tom right up.
Hi.
Was that a pillow? I'm so confused.
You really don't watch like anything, do you? Like you don't stay current on absolutely anything in the world.
I stay current on everything and have no idea what he's talking about.
What? You guys really? Are you?
I do not stay current because I do not watch news with the kids, and I just so I don't.
That is a good call.
So last week, Mike Lindell, the My Pillow sales guy.
Pillow salesman.
Pillow.
I thought you said hello.
I thought he was trying to say Peloton, but they're saying Pello.
Yes. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Mike Lindell's insane.
Well, he's been insane for years.
Yes.
For listeners who might be out of the country or not sure what we're talking about, held his cyber security symposium that was going to just blow the lid off the fact that the election was stolen, undisputed evidence about the attack from China, and it just totally fizzed out. And on top of that, during the symposium, he got news that Dominion, which is one of the manufacturers of the voting machines, were cleared to continue their lawsuit of like $1.5 billion against them.
Yeah,
and he freaked out just a little bit, running off stage.
Well,
so
it turns out actions have consequences. Who would have thought?
Yeah, and apparently the reward that he has on the table to prove that his evidence isn't valid is now been removed. He's no longer offering this, whatever it was, $5 million reward.
That's generally not how evidence works. Usually evidence earns you the reward, not has a reward if shown to be true. That's,
bad week for
thing.
Mike Lindell in the cyber world. Bad week for a lot of these
idiots
organizations who pointed their finger at Dominion because they're suing hard, like billions of dollars.
Oh yeah.
The lawsuit.
Well, they have to, because their name has just gotten dragged
Absolutely.
through the mud completely. I mean, they might not exist as a business next election.
Yeah. No,
So-
I'm totally on board with it. And this is the only way you can really, with that amount of damage that they try to kind of put on Dominion, this is the only way they can recoup on it, is to do an equal amount of damage to them, which in this case is going to be financial.
Yeah, and I guess the margin on pillows stuffed with cut up pieces of memory foam is pretty good. So he's got the money to pay.
I don't know. It's I think over $1 billion. I don't know if he has that. I don't know
Well,
if
Charlton in Discord is saying that the Mike Lindell lawsuit is just $175 million.
Oh, okay. Where am I getting the billion figure from?
I believe.
Making it up off the top of your head.
Oh, I believe that the $1.5 billion is the lawsuit against Giuliani and the Trump organization.
Okay. It's so weird, and I know we try hard to avoid politics on the show, but this had interweaved with our industry so tightly we couldn't avoid it anymore. I mean, there was no way not to discuss some of this politics that was happening, and some of the accusations being tossed around about the cyber piece of it. So,
and I don't think we shied away from politics as much as you think we should have.
Yeah, that's true too.
Especially during the height of it, we definitely didn't.
I don't think it was politics after a certain point, but
I
suppose
agree with
that's
that.
opinion.
No, I agree. It was I don't know what it was.
Treason.
How was everybody's
Anyways.
work week?
I was going to say, look at us starting earlier, more closely on time. That's crazy.
I know.
That's
I'm
nice.
actually excited. How's your week, John?
My week was good, very good. I did my first technical interview for Phone Burner this week. I've sat in with interviews with you when we've hired people at Diego Dev. You are the master at talking to people and working through those. That's why you have so many podcasts. As much as you hate yourself talking, especially on podcasts, you are so good at it. It's like an art form.
Thanks.
So
Stop. Stop.
So I sat through and I did my first one this week. It went decently well. Luckily I had notes from the person that normally does it, who's on vacation this week, and I thought it went well. It was a good learning experience.
So you're looking to they were looking to onboard somebody, or
yeah, they're bringing another person on. They had somebody quit to go make a movie.
what? How cool is that?
Yeah, so he's making a little indie film about college radio stations. You've heard his stuff. He's done a couple of like rap songs that I've shared in Slack.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's that guy.
Huh,
So
neat.
he's talented. Happy for him. I like when people leave to pursue, like, not just pursue more money, but to pursue a dream or something they want to accomplish.
Okay, I feel personally attacked there. My dream is more money.
Touche. The person I talked to, he was leaving because he wanted to work with developers better than him. He's kind of newer to the industry. And again, that's another one of those, if you're leaving to better yourself, that's admirable, in my opinion.
See, that's always easy for me because everybody's better than me. So
You just hire people.
I just hire people.
I don't need to quit.
That's why it seems like I'm good, because like I ask questions and so like what's this mean? And you're thinking, oh no, he knows that. No, I don't know shit.
I also had dealt with an outage last night. It's so annoying, but there was a new feature released, and just within the code, if you go to get a config value and it's not there, an exception is thrown, and if you're not prepared for it, that feature breaks, which makes sense. The problem was this was in a service provider that was called on every single page, so the entire site was down because we were missing config values.
Oh, that
but
hurts.
Figured it out, got it up and running quick. Is what it is.
How about you, Tom?
Me? I've been working on math, which
Still?
hasn't. Well, it's done. I finished it up this week, got it out, got it done and dealt with, and I hate math, but like it's a thing I'm gonna have to get used to now. And
you're in fintech, so yes.
Yeah, I know. It's annoying. And just, working away, dealing with having teenagers with driver's licenses and being that, constantly afraid whenever they're not home. It's wonderful.
It doesn't go away anytime soon either.
Yeah. Did a self-review this week, which
already?
Yeah. I'm at 3 months now. So we're doing that 3 month period thing, and turns out I am not good at self reviews.
Yeah.
10 out of 5.
Well, they want examples of things I've done well this the last 3 months, and I'm like, I don't remember what I did 2 days ago. Like I can't. There was this one thing. No, that doesn't count. No, that was a podcast. Like, I don't know. And then like, well, what do you need? What do you need to work on? What have you had issues with? And I'm like, okay, where do I start? Thesis statement, and then paragraphs of information. And for some reason, I can remember the faults very clearly. So my self-review looks like I'm going to fire myself.
I'm going to have to let myself go.
Yeah.
So is this a normal
if I don't,
practice?
you should.
Is this a normal practice, or is this just something you guys do after 3 months?
Well, we don't have a normal practice. This is sort of.
I asked because I worked at a company where you had your yearly evaluation was a self-evaluation. So it was your responsibility to track everything you did all year long. So when your evaluation came around, you could put it on this evaluation. I hated it. It was a very long evaluation too. It wasn't like, hey, 2 or 3 questions. It was this whole.
Oh, this was
was
2
a
questions. This was just what good, what bad.
Yeah.
But knowing my company, I wouldn't be surprised if it's done every 3 months.
I would be surprised. I could see it being 3 months after you're hired, and then a yearly type thing. Every 3 months seems a bit much.
It does, yeah.
My company is very focused on making sure everyone is doing the best they can do and is as happy with the work environment as they can be. So there's a lot of stuff that we do that takes an hour out of your week every 2 or 3 weeks, but it's very beneficial. We do, at the end of a sprint, we do a sprint review, and then we do a sprint retrospective.
Mm-hmm.
So we do both for every sprint, and they're about an hour long each. And then we do sprint planning that has the entire dev team, and so we have a lot of stuff like that. That's just sort of, this is part of how we work, is making sure, checking in on everybody. We do a stand-up every morning over video, where we could just use a stand-up Alice app or something like that. Thanks. But the company takes the time to make sure people's input keeps getting heard and keeps going back into the project managers and the people who are working on stuff.
That reminds me that we have that through Gusta, where employees can fill out a survey about the company, and man, we get a torn a new one every month.
I saw a little bit of drama.
It wasn't meant to be drama. I just, there are certain times where you get great reviews, and then you get one question, you're like, I wish somebody would talk to me about this so I knew what was going on.
Now, I want to be clear here. The message that you sent, roughly, was like, hey, let us know what's going on. We're not trying to call anybody out. Let us know how you feel. This is an anonymous thing. This is just your opinions, and we want to know how everyone's happy and everything like that. The message immediately before your message was, quote unquote, "We ain't no snitches."
I forgot about that.
So I'm just saying, that's
what's funny is John and I are very hands-on, in the muck with the team, getting things done. And we're constantly having the conversation of how would we want to be treated in this situation if we were put in this situation. And so like these evaluations, when they were first brought up and we realized they were anonymous, they're like, oh, cool, man, anonymous, so everybody can let their guard down, respond. There's no way for us to know who sent this. And after like 3 or 4 readings, we're like, who the fuck sent this? Turn off anonymous. How do we tell who sent this? I'm tracking IPs.
That's true. They actually don't even know if I'm one of the people who responded to this survey.
Very well could be.
So if you got one that was upset that Eric kept refusing my advances, that might have been me.
I do love these surveys. I'm sure the team finds them annoying because they come out every month. And
only a few people respond to them.
Yeah, but they really give. And so I can imagine a larger company of like 20 or 30 employees where it's a little different with us because we're small enough. I literally talk to everybody, at least once a week, typically more times than once a week. So that's easy. But if the company was bigger where it's not realistic that you're going to talk to everybody every week, I just see this sort of thing. I wish I had this at some of the places I worked in the past because it's nice. It really gives us a lot of information. I don't know how the people filling it out feel when they do it, like if they have any guilt or if they're holding back or anything. But I don't know. I like them. They're good.
All right, Eric, how was your week?
I want to kind of continue down that pattern. Well, I guess before I do that, it's been good, John. It's been hectic. My world is turning upside down very quickly, and I'm terrified and don't know what to do about it. But we are putting our house here in San Diego on market probably the end of this month. So we have the realtor come out, go through the house, give us some assessments on what he felt they could get for it, and he's actually the one helping us out looking for a new place as well, which is going to remain here in Southern California, which I'm happy, I guess, for. I mean, I do like being in Southern California, so I am glad that we are staying here. But we've kind of narrowed our kind of areas down a little bit. A couple of them are outside San Diego County. Some of them are still here. No,
so 2 questions. Have you told your kids that you're moving?
No, we don't want them to find us.
The second question was, have you told them that they're not coming with you?
Yeah, well, we have had the discussion, and there's kind of a mixed reaction right now on what everybody wants to do. I mean, again, my kids, 23-year-old adults, they're twins, so they're both 23. This isn't as jarring as telling your 12-year-old that you're tearing them away from their friends and everything.
Done that.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
But all of a sudden, like, just so many wheels are in motion, and like so many big numbers are being tossed around, and it's insane. I don't know what to do.
How much value add was the hydroponics garden that you built, or the aquaponics? I mean, that's adds 50,000, right?
That's actually one of the things I'm looking at in the new house is where to put my aquaponics. One of the houses had a koi pond. But we're very focused on a pool, right? We like our pool. We have a pool currently, and we really want to continue to have a pool, which I'm on board. But this one house that we looked at had turned their pool into a koi pond, and they kept saying all you have to do is drain it, clean it, and it's a pool again. And I'm telling Beck, I'm like, no, we keep it a koi pond. I build my aquaponics right there on the hill, and it just feeds everything. She wasn't buying it.
Yeah.
Like, nope, not paying for that. That's not happening. So, but okay. So to continue down the path of what we're talking about, it's sort of a similar topic. Google, it was leaked this week that Google has a survey that people can fill out and say whether or not they plan on continuing to work remote, or if they're going to start coming back into the office.
Yeah.
And depending on how they respond, apparently their salaries are changing. This is something we're all familiar with. We're all remote workers. We've all been remote workers for a while. Our company is totally remote. So these are conversations that John and I have a lot. Let me ask, let's start with Tom. What is your perspective on this? If there's a company that offers remote work, but wants to pay you differently depending on where you live,
then I don't work for them.
Okay, so you don't agree with that practice? You think that's a bad practice?
Pay is how a company shows that they appreciate the work that you do.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a matter of where you live or what you do in your spare time, usually.
Oh, I disagree with that on the premise of we're still in this transition phase, but I think that the common hiring practice was based on where the company's based, with the concept of the employees need to have a living wage to live in this area.
So all evidence shows that remote workers are more productive,
mm-hmm.
cost the company less money,
mm-hmm.
and are happier with their jobs. And by evidence,
But-
I mean actual
but-
scientific studies, multiple times throughout the
I'm
world.
not going to debate you on any of that.
So for a company to say,
you're missing what Eric is talking about. Going
the
with
cost of living part.
Cost of living being a big one. You go with a big company that is spread regionally or across the country. If they are hiring you in a certain area, they're going to pay you a wage based on that area.
No.
Yes, they will.
No, I mean, yeah,
yes, they will.
That's the theoretical.
Right,
that's theoretical.
So hold on.
I'm not down for that.
Please, Your Honor, I'm not done asking my questions. Let's continue down this path then. So based on your response, that your pay is a reflection of our appreciation of your work effort. Okay, that was the comment you made. Then why is it that different states, different locations have different pay scales for the same position? So being an IT person
Because they can.
in Nebraska has a different pay scale than being an IT worker in San Francisco.
On location, like mandatory on location stuff, absolutely that applies. So if you're a wire jockey in an office building, they're gonna have to pay you to live in the city.
Pump the brakes in. You're defending Google. You're saying because Google is based in Silicon Valley, the fact that they want to pay on-premise workers more money than they pay remote workers is an acceptable practice. You just pivoted.
Yeah,
on that.
absolutely. But you can't.
Okay.
But you can't apply that retroactively.
I don't think they're suggesting to apply it retroactively.
And I'm talking. Yeah, they are applying it retroactively. They're saying you're going to take a pay cut because you want to stay home from work or you want to work from home. But their job, if they're doing it remotely, their job means that they can do it remotely. They don't need to be in the office. If you don't need to be in the office, you don't have to pay someone to live in the city. Now, the other thing on this is that the studies over the last year and a half have come out on housing prices, and housing prices in the suburbs are going up and city housing prices are going down because people aren't being forced to live in the city. So that money that they were spending on people living in the city so that they could get to work quicker, that money that they were bonus adding was their own fault. They were requiring people to live in the city. Therefore, the prices in the city kept going up and up and up. So you can't blame the person who says, screw you, I want to keep my paycheck, but I want to work remotely because I'm happier, more productive, and more cost efficient for the company. They're trying to double dip.
No, they're not trying to. I see both sides of this, obviously. Go ahead, John.
Sure.
No, I was going to say, cutting someone's pay is unacceptable.
That's what they're doing. The results of this, the results of the survey. The results of the survey were if you live in the city, you get no pay cut. If you live out in the suburbs, you can get your pay cut by up to 15%. So this was pay cuts for people who were sent home and then asked to come back. And when they said, I'm actually more efficient at home, they're taking a pay cut.
But again, when they were hired, part of the responsibility was to be on premise. So that's like saying,
so they can quit.
Right, they can absolutely quit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm not saying they can't quit. I'm saying, do we think the practice is acceptable? You're bouncing back and forth on it.
No. I'm saying.
So, hold on. Let me get my question out. You keep interrupting me.
All right.
So let's say tomorrow you go into the office and you say, hey, I love my new job. I just did my evaluation, but you know what? I don't want to do this one part anymore. I don't want to participate in the meetings anymore. And they say, well, that's part of your job. Well, I don't want to do it anymore. It's like, okay, well, then you can continue to work here, but we're going to reduce your salary because that was part of your responsibility before.
Absolutely.
So that's basically what Google is saying. They're saying, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That is what Google is saying. They have every right to say it. It's not an ethically bad thing for them to do. It's bad business. It is a stupid move by Google. No one is saying that this is immoral, unethical, or wrong in any kind of legal way. They're saying this is a stupid thing for Google to do. Because people will take that pay cut, stay in their house, and find a new job. It's a stupid move.
I don't disagree with that. I don't know if I agree with you saying it's not unethical.
No, I mean, like, as far as business ethics go, I'm not talking about the
there's
ethics
no
of,
such thing as business.
right.
Ethics.
I'm not talking about the ethics of people. I'm saying that it's not unethical in a legal sense. It's not breaking an ethics boundary that they could be sued for. It's just dumb. It's just a bad idea, poorly executed.
It's
and
definitely
got them a lot of bad press.
It's definitely a bad idea to cut people's pay that you've already hired.
Who have been working through the pandemic for a year and a half.
When you go to hire somebody, I don't know that that's the same case.
So would you say it would have been better for them to just not even offer this as an option and just require them to come back on premise if that was the direction they were going?
I would say that they need to completely reassess the reason that they did it in the first place. Having people
John,
on premise.
What do you think?
Forcing people to be on premise is a bad call. And there's a lot of people in America who are stuck on this idea that remote work doesn't work. And many of them moved on to other companies that focus on remote work exclusively.
What do you think, John?
I'm in the same boat where I see both sides. When I was hired as a remote employee, my very first time, I was living in Florida, and they told me that pay was based on where you live. And at the time, I'm like, well, wait, I know for a fact I'm moving to San Diego. Like, yes, I live in Florida right now, but I am moving. So if that's the case, I need that taken into account right now. But
Okay.
if it was the other way around, where I was hired in San Diego, being paid San Diego prices, and then I decided to move somewhere else,
which I did,
I'd be pissed. I know you went through this. I'd be pissed if my pay was cut because all of a sudden I was moving to a more cost-effective location. So that's the same thing. I do not think Google should, or anybody should, change somebody's pay just because they're now working remote, no matter where they're located. But it can be taken into consideration when you're going to hire somebody.
I think any time that you hear a company tell people you have to move or else, and they're already an employee, you consider that a bad company to work with.
I don't think anybody's doing that. I don't think John was put in that position, and I don't think Google is really putting anybody in that position. I don't think this is. I'm not there. I don't know, but as far as I know, this is impacting everybody who was on premise at one time.
All right. Well, Sarah ended the conversation. She says that pay scales are also dependent on genitals. It's not like this is new. Fair enough.
That's yeah.
That's why Eric.
Okay. So what?
That's why we always request it. Never mind.
What do you think of John's assessment of he was told that your pay is going to be based on where you live? Because we have that. We have people all over the world. What do you think, of that? Like,
I don't take those interviews.
I'm not asking if you take. I'm asking your opinion on it.
I think it's dumb. Mm-hmm. I think fundamentally, you can look for people who are operating within your time zone or keeping the same hours as your head office, things like that. But if you're looking for a remote worker, then where they live doesn't matter. They could live next door to the office and never come in, or they could live in a different country. But where they live is irrelevant to how much you pay somebody for the job they do for you.
So what do you base that salary on then? So if I had an employee in, let's say, one employee in West Virginia, one employee in La Jolla, which is a ritzy place here in San Diego for those who don't know, and one employee in Tennessee, I'm just thinking, or Alabama, whatever another low cost of living state is here.
Louisiana.
In the US. Okay, Louisiana. So you're saying all three of those should make the same amount based on what?
based on the skill set and the requested paycheck from the employee being interviewed.
So people.
I'm always told.
Oh, so based on what's requested by the employee being interviewed. So
I'm always told to ask for how much money I want. I have never once been told how much money they're offering for a position.
Right. So, but what you just said is, as an employer, we should pay the same to everybody, no matter where they're at in the world. But if I hire somebody in China and they say, "Hey, I want $10,000 a year to do the same job somebody here making $100K makes," it's okay. Now I'm confused.
If you're talking about someone in China who produces the same quality of code and works within the needs of the company, absolutely. If I moved to China and I kept the same hours and no one knew,
you just said absolutely. And there's two sides to that coin.
Right. The reason that we outsource things to India is because the code is produced faster, but it's lower quality.
No, let's not go there. They're doing the same exact job. The person asked for $10,000 a year.
Same quality. Let's assume. Let's not get into the politics of outsourcing to third world countries because of whatever. Let's just assume the person in India or China or wherever produces the same quality of code, maybe even better quality of code than somebody here in San Diego. And yeah.
They ask for $10,000? Yeah, absolutely hire them. But now, because they're out of country, you have to account for certain things. But yeah, if a person is willing to work for $10,000 and they're a fantastic programmer and works within your needs.
Okay, well that applies to the States too. If I'm interviewing somebody in Alabama and they say, "I'll be happy making $50,000 a year," that I'm paying somebody doing the same exact work $100,000 in San Diego. Now you're saying it's okay, and I'm confused.
I'm saying that the employee dictates their own idea of value, and there will always be people who underestimate their value and accept a paycheck for a lower amount of money. That's why, as programmers, when we increase our skills, we become a rarer commodity, and so our value is dictated by the rarity of us as a commodity. Excellent programmers cost more money no matter where they're living.
Yeah, but our needs, our value, often is based in our own mind, based on cost of living. What it's going to cost me to live in the house I have, or a nicer house and everything. So
absolutely.
So I know my pay scale for my area.
So based on everything you're telling me, then I can make a prediction that this remote working situation that we're all loving right now, that we're embracing, is going to turn on us eventually, because people in states that cost of living is lower can start underbidding jobs, and people in states where this technology is based and have a higher cost of living are going to not get those positions now.
I will agree with you, but you're also shorthanding why people live in lower cost of living areas. It's not just that it's cheaper for the exact same house or the exact same food.
No, they're there because that's where they're born, raised, their family's there. They like Alabama, they like Tennessee, they like there's a million reasons I don't care why they live there. I'm just saying they're better programmers than I am, and I'm going to also get priced out of my field because they're not here anymore.
If they're better programmers than you. But
they are.
But Ari,
we've already had to go back to
we started with that. No, but the issue is that in Alabama you don't see a lot of people who are better programmers than you, because their educational system is in charge of teaching them programming, and it's the worst in the country. So your competition. No. I mean, I'm talking like. The cost of living and the quality of the school district are directly linked to each other. So when you look at what people who are doing work based off of intelligence and training and education, they will always be in the higher cost of living areas. And yes, the cities are going to take a hit.
How much of your education factored into your professional career?
100%. I mean that. How much of living in a very upper class neighborhood in San Diego led to me getting my career? 100%. Because I had friends whose fathers were programmers, CTOs, who took me on as a favor to their friends.
Okay, you're going off course. Never mind.
No, I'm saying that this
you're
the
going off
environment.
course because we're leveling the playing field. My point was none of your schooling factored into your professional career. I know that as a fact based on the conversations you and I had. Very little of my schooling.
I was the programming teacher at my school.
If you're listening to the show live, you may want to join us in discord.phpugly.com. This conversation is blowing up. If you're listening to the audio podcast later, you still want to join Discord. We have got a great conversation going on here. We got Kevin in here talking about living expense definitely does factor into this. Sarah Goldman and Charlton and Buttery are all just saying, we need to get over it and stop crying.
And if you want to join us, it's discord.phpugly.com, and that's where you will learn about the drink I'm drinking tonight.
What are you drinking tonight?
It's urine.
It does look like urine. I do admit that.
He's gone ultra vegan. It's now only things his body produces.
So
the descendant tier.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, said he was drinking pastis, and I was like, "Ooh, I gotta try that." And I actually bought it a week or two ago, and finally decided to break it out for tonight. And I do gotta say, I enjoy it. Maybe not for a late night. I can definitely see this being more of a afternoon, evening type of drink, but it's good.
Sarah Goldman says it's weird that I always refer to them as Sarah Goldman. I'm sorry. I think it's weird that you talk to us through YouTube chat when you're in our Discord.
Yes.
I think that's weird.
And we want people to know that it's you specifically because we're so honored that you hang out with us.
I do take a certain amount of pride.
Since we're talking about her, I did put her GitHub link on my Trello board. She has the Mars 2020 helicopter contributor achievement because she contributed to, I believe, the curl package, and it was used on the Mars helicopter. So she has an achievement.
What?
Yeah. How cool is that?
Sarah Goldman?
No, just Sarah.
It's just Sarah.
How have you not told me this?
She tweeted it. Pay attention.
I don't like her that much. I don't pay attention to her tweets. Where's this? Show me. I got the link to the GitHub.
On the bottom left, achievements. The little red one that has the Mars helicopter on it.
What? You have code in outer space?
On another planet.
Yeah, actually, it's technically not in outer space anymore.
I am absolutely amazed.
Cool.
I love this stuff. I love this stuff so much. Oh, man.
See all the cool stuff you get by hanging out with us in Discord?
That's so awesome.
Yes. What better than an acknowledgement from NASA than an acknowledgement from us?
Geez, I haven't.
Yeah, it's not PHP on Mars. It's curl.
I don't know what that is.
PHP on Mars, though, amazing album.
PHP on Mars. I think somebody suggest that as a title, so I don't forget. Please, PHP on
already
Mars.
Done.
There you go. I like that. I think that might be our. That's our running title so far. Awesome.
There's been a lot of good ones suggested already.
Yeah, good conversation going on, man. Yeah. So we don't have to beat it up anymore. I was curious when I saw that because this is a position that John and I find ourselves in a lot, and I think we've been pretty good about the way we've done things. I got another question for you, Tom. Oh, good, John. Did you have something?
I was going to finish it by saying I agree with Tom that often the employee will kind of dictate, because we do the same thing. We ask, what are you expecting to make? And then try to decide, is it within our budget or not to pay them what they want.
I got a question for both of you, because I don't think this is a conversation you and I have had, John, and you and I have some pretty deep conversations. So what are your thoughts on when I worked, especially when I worked in enterprise, there was always this, don't tell anybody how much you make. Like that was always like the marching orders. Don't let anybody know how much you're making. You know, somebody's always making less, somebody's always making more. Just know that you're in the top 80 percentile, you're in the top whatever. How do you feel about that not being the rule and everybody knowing how much everybody makes? Because I've also worked in union shops where that was the case. Everybody knew what everybody was making. There was literally a chart, and there was no surprises. What are your opinions on those two paradigms?
I mean, I'm glad you brought up union shop, because that's the difference in the paradigm. It is non-union shops are good for employees who make the most money. Unionization helps people who are not making the most money. And in that same vein, and I think it's wrong for a company to say, don't discuss your pay. But I think it's good advice if you're in the top tier of earners in the company.
Why is that?
Because top tier earners are usually in management or middle management positions, and you want the employees to focus on the work and not the financial disparity between employees.
Okay.
So you're
saying as general practice is just discourage the sharing of that information
in a competitive environment. Okay. If someone asked me, I'd tell them, but it's not something like I volunteer. And it can also be, it can create problems for your employer.
Absolutely.
I worked for a company where I was getting paid more than my boss, and my boss didn't know. And
so
we just wanted to keep
is that
it that
healthy?
way.
But is that healthy?
No.
It's not, right?
It's not. It's absolutely not.
But did you know that?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Yeah. That's an argument. See, how's that fair for your boss?
It's
right?
not at all.
I mean,
not
it's
at
not.
all.
So why?
And it was a sign. No, it was a sign. It was a sign of poor financial health at the company as well.
Yeah.
Is that, the company didn't do reviews and didn't offer raises. You had to force the subject.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the same boat as Sarah, where I was raised. You don't talk about finances.
I was totally raised that way, but I was also raised that it's not top secret, and what's fair for all employees is most often fair for you. So
wait a minute. Now you guys are saying Sarah Goldman in Discord.phpugly.com is saying fairness isn't the goal. I thought that's exactly what we were just talking about with remote workers.
Fairness is the goal of a union.
I'm so confused.
Fairness is the goal of a union.
I don't know where to stand on this anymore.
I'm so confused.
No, fairness is the goal of a union, but as an individual representing yourself, fairness is absolutely not the goal. You want the most money, end of story.
Right,
so
but
again,
but how do you get that if you're talking to everybody about your pay?
You don't. That's why as an individual you don't talk about your pay, but as a union you do.
Okay, that makes more sense. Fairness is not the goal for the company.
Right. Fairness isn't making the most money is the goal of the company. Fairness is the goal.
We've been
of
doing
the
it all
union.
wrong. I can tell you that much right now.
Oh, I know.
All right, we should move on. I think we've talked about this enough. I think it was a good conversation, though. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But I tell you, between things going on at work, between this whole house thing, I mean, so many things are in the air. I'm trying to get the next PHP roundtable put together, which I think I'm going to head down. I have a couple people lined up for a roundtable, so I'm probably going to just continue to focus on that one. But yeah, just a lot of moving parts right now. We're a lot of moving parts. It's just crazy. My life is just, I'm feeling flooded right now. But I'll be okay. I'll get through it. I'm sure I'll be all right.
You know what'll help you? You know what'll help you manage that thing, that just too many moving parts going on at once, it gets hard to track?
Honey Badger transforms you into a DevOps hero by combining error, uptime, and cron monitoring into a single easy-to-use platform. Stop wasting your time tailing logs and deploy with Swagger. Visit honeybadger.io today to level up.
Thank you, Honey Badger.
Thank you, Honey Badger. Eric was going to say something. I could hear him during the ad, but I couldn't understand him.
I knew where you were going with that. I was going to say the one thing I don't worry about is this condition of my applications, and why? Because of Honey Badger. I actually deployed
Honey Badger transforms you into a DevOps hero by combining.
All right, there you go.
I actually deployed Honey Badger to our company website this past week. So yeah, Honey Badger is our product of choice and an official sponsor of PHPUgly. Thank you, Honey Badger.
Thank you, Honey Badger.
Thank you.
So, Eric, I've been getting a couple of the newer devs at PhoneBurner up to speed, trying to get some of their local environments working. Got on a call with somebody yesterday, asked him to share a screen. He's working along. I'm like, are you using NeoVim? Yes, I am.
Nice.
So just watching him work along, and I talked all about you and told him you should watch this stupid podcast called PHPUgly because one of the hosts is all about NeoVim.
Yeah.
One of our episodes is all about NeoVim, just the one. Have to really dig to find it.
Yeah, I do enjoy my NeoVim. The project I'm following on it, I'm really waiting for them to come out with their first actual release, so I can stop tinkering with it. My NeoVim has it goes through these ups and downs now, and whereas it's like really dialed in well, then something about the release to come out and it's a pain. So. And it's all my fault. It's because I'm not taking the time to customize it for myself. I'm piggybacking on this other project just because, excuse me, because I really want to leverage the Lua aspect of it, which I know nothing about Lua, and this project really does a lot with Lua. So I don't know. I'm loving it. I've been popping over to PHP Storm a little bit more frequently. I mean, doing the Livewire pulls me back in all the time to PHP Storm, and we have something in Discord. Matter of fact, I asked somebody in Discord to reach out to you, Tom. Do you use Xdebug with VS Code, or are you still using VS Code?
So I got this message and haven't had time to respond.
You did get. Oh, they did reach out to you. Cool.
Yes, I don't use Xdebug. I do still use Visual Studio Code.
Why do you not use Xdebug? What is wrong with you?
You don't use Xdebug at all?
I try to, and then it's
like when you write bug-free code, you don't need Xdebug. What do you mean you try to? How do you live without it?
Carefully. Laravel collections. You can do a DD in line with a Laravel collection.
I saw that recently. That's cool.
I use that all over the place when I'm doing like MapReduce stuff with collections.
All right. Well, for the person who was asking about Xdebug and VS Code, like I said, I'm heading out of town, but when I get back in town, I promise to spend some time. It can't be that hard.
I'll take a shot at it this weekend.
So
hit Discord.
The person I was talking about using NeoVim, when we needed to debug, he jumped in VS Code and was using Xdebug in VS Code.
There you go. So there's another aspect of this problem, which is he's using Devilbox for his Docker containers, which is something he knows he might even be using it because I recommended it. I don't know.
Right.
So the problem could actually be in that configuration. So I just need to pop on, do a screen share with them, and figure it out.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how Devilbox has Xdebug configured, or if you can change that easily.
Yeah, I mean, I use it. I use it with PHP Storm, so I know it works. I don't think I did anything special. Yeah.
Have either of you, speaking of VS Code, tried the editor in GitHub?
Oh, no. .dev. I can't get it to work. Can you get it to
just
work?
You go to your repo and just hit period, and it just pops it open.
I tried this already. Wait, hit period. Wait, what?
Just
I did. You can change the .com to .dev as well.
Oh, I just went to like the code tab on your repo and just hit dot.
See, mine says unable to resolve something. I don't know what it can't resolve. Unable to resolve resource VS Code. I get that on every repo I go to. So instead of going to github.com, you can go to github.dev and it'll do it as well. So you just change the .com.dev. I didn't realize. I saw somebody in our Slack channel, company Slack, mention that today. And I just did it. I just tried it.
I just did it in Call Game On.
So did I. Yours worked.
Slow.
Yeah.
Mine. I just tried to Call Game on as well. It didn't work for me.
Yeah, hitting period just works for me.
Really? How do we feel about this?
You have an ad blocker?
I have several.
There's your problem.
Let's see. One more time.
Well, there's no ads on it.
I mean, it launches.
I get positive stuff.
I get the start page, but as soon as I click, it says unable to resolve workspace folder.
Huh. Interesting.
This is very cool, though, because we've been talking about this about the web version of VS Code, and would this be something that would take us down that path?
I haven't spent enough. Yeah, go ahead. You really what?
I really think JetBrains need to get on board with this and come up with a solution.
Well, it's already running in Java, isn't it? I've heard Java runs on 5 billion devices.
Oh, it's smooth as butter.
I've done it, but I haven't actually changed any files or done anything with it. So I don't know how to tell what branch I'm on. Am I going to affect production code by accidentally saving something that I shouldn't save?
Oh, yeah, you just have to know how VS Code works then, because at the bottom it says GitHub, and then there's a little thing that says master. You click on that, it lists all the branches you can switch to or create.
Gotcha.
And then the little circle icon.
It saves it back to the repo?
No, not until you sync it, not until you commit it. So the icon to the right of your branch is your current sync status, your pull and push status. And then from there you have exceptions and warnings.
I'm gonna have to try it in Microsoft Edge, because I don't have any blockers on that one yet. So let me do that while you guys are talking about whatever you're going to talk about.
It looks nice.
This is pretty cool. Yeah.
I wonder how well the extensions and stuff work. But
I mean, why wouldn't that just become another repo in your account? Like have a VS Code repo as part of your GitHub account.
Why do you need a VS Code repo?
For extensions and customizations that you make to your online VS Code?
I mean,
Yeah,
it's got extensions there. Like I haven't tried installing an extension and seeing if it works, but it's got them all. It's got 10,000 extensions.
It has Vim install.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the GitHub one installed automatically. Big surprise.
All right, I'll spend more time on it. I was just wondering if you'd seen it. I think I saw it from Frank in Discord earlier
God,
today.
I wish I was using GitHub. This is such a better extension than the stupid Bitbucket one.
All right, I'm trying it in Microsoft Edge. Let's see if it works. It works. That's it. I'm going over to Microsoft Edge.
How are you trying it in Microsoft Edge? I'm confused.
Because he doesn't have any ad blockers there.
Yeah,
But how do you have Microsoft Edge?
It's a browser.
It's just Chrome now.
Yeah,
it runs on Linux, really?
It's just Chromium.
It runs on everything.
Oh,
yeah.
I have a question for you guys.
Lay it on us.
How do you do code reviews?
Carefully.
Usually with one eye closed, clicking around to I hit approve.
Depends on the PR.
What is your process?
So for me, we have 2 reviewers. You have one person doing a functional review and one person doing a code review. So a person doing a code review is really trying to understand all the code, looking at syntax, looking to make sure there's no obvious logic errors.
Sure. So how do you start that? You get a pull request and it's got a changelog of 30 files.
Ask somebody else to do it. It's hard. If there's tests, I'm happy. I don't know. I really just start top to bottom and then have to bounce around. Often have 2 windows open so that as I see function calls or something being called to another class, I can scroll down to see, okay, what is this doing? It really takes a lot of time if it's a big PR, especially a new feature.
In VS Code, you can get, with that GitHub extension, you can get the comments in a change request in line with the code as you're reviewing it. So you can pull
there's a Storm extension that does that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I thought you cared about my opinion. It's fine. Go ahead.
You're on the big screen. Kiss cam.
I was just gonna say for me, I actually take a couple passes to it. The first thing I look at, I depend heavily on GitHub Actions and making sure all tests pass. That's the first thing. If everything's coming up green, I'm feeling good. One of the things that a lot of people don't know about with pull requests is as you're reviewing code, you can collapse sections, the code changes as you're doing the review. Mm-hmm. So typically what I do is I do a style, I'll do a style breeze through to make sure everything looks like it's formatted correctly. I don't know why I do that. It's just like one of these like things that I do. Then so when I'm doing that, I collapse everything down, and then I'll kind of make note of where logic was. So I'll start to go back and look through logic. But like John says, it's a slow process, especially if there's only like one person reviewing all the code changes.
So this is something I've been going over for a few weeks, and my process now is starting at route changes. So I look at the routes files and see what new routes there are. And then I pull up the controllers that get referenced. And I go through the changes in the controller. And as I get to a new object or a new trait or something like that, I go inside that object and start inspecting what's new in there and what it does, and then go back and start going back down the controller again.
So you're basically following the code.
Yeah. So what I do,
if you had XDebug, that'd be a hell of a lot easier. Just saying.
I know, But yes, I'm following the execution path of the code and then pulling back. And I'm wondering if anyone in the Discord or you guys has any good books or articles on quality code reviews. Because
are there
does
unit
take
tests?
up a chunk of time.
Are there
Well,
tests?
so unit tests, everything in our situation is unit tested, including the negative values. So if we add functionality that a user can view an object, then our tests check that an authorized user can view the object and an unauthorized user cannot view the object.
Right, you're checking
So
all edge cases.
Yeah, so we double check all our cases for the positive and the so our unit tests. The first thing I'll review is the unit test. Does it test everything? Does the unit test read the same as the story notes? And if it does, then I'll continue, because our pull requests won't even hit us until they're passing the build pipeline. So if they don't build, if unit tests don't pass, then it doesn't get to us for review. But
and you're also checking code coverage to make sure that all new code has coverage, to make sure that happy path and sad path is covered.
Yeah.
that did not sound convincing at all.
In theory,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that sounds like something we would do. Why do you ask?
That's been something I've been doing with PHP Storm, is running my tests with coverage, because then it shows within the code what's covered, what's not, and then I decide what additional tests I need to test some of the sad paths, like making sure that exceptions get thrown where I'm catching them, what happens when things break. I'm so confused.
they're just telling jokes in Discord now.
Yes.
Humor. I want to take a time.
I asked
want to take a
that
minute.
because. All right. No, you don't want to hear from me.
No, go ahead.
Now I'm on the big screen, baby. I asked this because this is something that, we have a 5-6 story point ticket. Code review comes up and they're like, yeah, we want to get this done ASAP. I'm like, the ticket itself is 7 story points. Code review should be 2 story points. Do you guys deal with that at all, where it's like code reviews are taking up a chunk of your time that isn't really accounted for in your burn downs or velocities?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you account for that? Is there a way of accounting for velocity that includes review?
We're not doing true agile in any of the projects, so no, it's more of a discussion when you're estimating time. We always make sure you're trying to include that as well. Include time for development and testing and review.
Well, in writing tests, right? I mean, it's the same. It's the same conversation. You're trying to get. In our case, it's a client, right? You're trying to get the client to buy into the fact that we're not only going to write code, but we're going to write tests for that code. We're going to have time to review that code. We're going to have a workflow and a process. It's
so, and I agree.
In the perfect world, it's not an issue, and you probably have more leverage working for a company because you can define those expectations better.
Well, it's hard. Leverage is the wrong verb there, because
responsibility.
You have management trying to push stuff down your throat.
We've had code reviews pass that the boss came in and said, why the fuck is this on production?
I think leverage in the sense that if a client comes to us and says, no, I'm not going to let you do that, we have to say, okay, well, we're going to write the code, and then the code breaks, and like, you're fired, you write terrible code. Tom has the leverage of saying, hey, I'm part of this company. I'm working for the same goals you are. This isn't a money grab for me. I'm not a contractor. I'm telling you, we have to do this. This is going to save us money in the long run.
Sir, in Discord says they have a leaderboard of PRs, review, time to comment, and number of comments. So gamifying that. Are you using any sort of service? Because
Yeah, is
I
that a
had
tool that you can give us? 'Cause, dude,
I had looked into one probably 6 months to a year ago, and it was not cheap. But they gave you all those metrics of you got alerted if a PR was open for too long, and kept all those same metrics: time to comment, time to review. So
Yeah. All right. You got more on that, Tom? Or
no, that was just. I mean, to me, that was the big topic to ask about. But it sounds like you guys aren't any help today. So
no, really not. Well, no, it's not today. It's
I
pretty
know,
much every day, but in general,
Yeah.
you said velocity. My mind shut down. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's okay. So that's the thing, is that velocity is actually a value of an individual. There's a team velocity, but usually velocity refers to an individual's performance.
Is their
So,
velocity the same no matter
how do
where they
you-
live?
If the code reviewer isn't the one creating the ticket or working on the ticket, then none of the platforms I've seen for Agile are able to attribute velocity to a second party. It's only the person who wrote the ticket.
Sarah,
So
you guys
if
should
my
think
job was
about
just
marketing.
reviewing tickets, I would have a 0 velocity.
Sarah, you
even
guys
if
should
the
think
ticket's
about
accounted for.
marketing that those scripts, making it a service. That might. Well, I think a lot of companies would pay for that.
I might think
I'm
about
telling
making
you.
that a SaaS. That's a good call.
I'm telling you, there's one out there. I got to find out what it was called. See if
Well,
they want
like
to sponsor
Tom
us
has-
next week.
Why Tom has our Patreons up on screen. Want to thank our Patreons.
It's weird. Our stream has never had a negative lag before. That's weird.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
And of course, we want to thank Honey Badger for sponsoring this episode. But if you're listening to this podcast, if you're listening to the audio version, welcome to the live stream, because this one I'm just knocking out. I already told the guys that we have some pretty hard starts and stops. They accommodated me by starting a little early, and they're accommodating me by not finishing on time. But this is going to be a hard edit for you all listening on the audio stream. But we do want to thank all of our Patreons for supporting us. We're very grateful for that. So I appreciate it. I know I appreciate everyone. I forgot to take down the new members. So you are no longer a new member, Steve, but we do appreciate it.
Fucking Steve.
Did you take down that ungrateful one that stopped? That stopped contributing.
Like that.
No.
You know. So this is tasteless. I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong word. Eric and I had a good laugh at it because we don't expect our employees to support our show. I mean, not at all. Not at all.
That's not why I think we don't base our bonuses on that.
Business ethics.
We're not saying we gave people a bigger bonus who supported us. That's not what we're saying.
We're shocked every time we see it happen because it's happened more than once. But then when
Just
somebody
saying,
stops,
Frank has a beautiful pool.
You're like, what happened?
Lisa needs braces.
I think somebody's looking. They did just take a long vacation. I think somebody's marketing. I think they're trying to get a better salary. I don't know, man. I'm nervous.
Yes.
I'm nervous. Oh man. So thank you to
MHKB gave us a PR leaderboard.
He did. They did
In Discord.
PR leaderboard. Oh, what is this?
This is cool. PR game is gamification of the code review process.
There you go. Exactly what we were asking for. See,
This
is the best part
Discord,
of doing the
baby.
show.
And it's
This
open
is the
source,
best part
huh?
of doing the show. I'm telling you. Yeah.
And for those who aren't watching the video, what is our
It's
Patreon
even
address?
a doctor.
Patreon.com/PHPUgly. We appreciate all the support. I've got all the stuff here. It's going out next week.
Eric's
Oh,
got
you got
the
it all
bird.
packaged up?
Yep. Ready to go. I need to talk to you more about. Make sure we have all the names and addresses and all that good stuff.
Okay. So this is just a Python script. It looks like. Wow. Oh, we're gonna have to give this one a try. Thanks, MHKB in Discord. I do appreciate that. I had to explain.
It's all 2 years old, though.
It's two commits total, 2 years old.
That can't be good.
One fork.
Oh.
With also two
I had
commits
to,
that are.
I had to
no
explain to
addition.
my wife what fucking Steve was and why I like fucking Steve. She really wanted to know why I said
You
that
do.
phrase.
Yeah, it's true. You do like fucking Steve.
You have so much to explain to me, and it was a fun story to relive. So, all right, I think that's it. We're going to call that a show. I need to quickly put this together. Stop. See, if you're in our Discord, if you watch this live, you would understand why everybody's giggling. But that is. Was it even Python 3? Did we even pay attention to that?
Chris on Discord says all Python projects are 2 commits and 2 years old. Oh boy.
All right, that's it. Thank you everybody for joining us.
Thanks everyone.
This has been episode 249. I'm Eric.
I'm John.
I'm Tom.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly.
1, 2, 1, 2.
And now if only I could hear the
Coming off
music.
the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle
Thank you,
can
thank you,
cherish.
Frank, thank
I'ma
you.
send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric,
peace
he
out.
stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo,
Buttery
shout the
was in
host name Thomas, cause he's never
250
wrong.
is
And shout
coming.
to
Oh my
John.
goodness.
Remember
You know
when
that
Buttery
we
was
smart
the
and
only
quiet,
person that
unlike my
talked to us during the
freestyles,
show?
which
Oh, yeah.
cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the
Buttery.
people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the
Well, Buttery
ugly.
still hangs
It's
out with
called
us, so I
ugly
still
'cause
feel
it's
honored.
not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting. I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody
Now you're
show
just
me
another
honest?
person
I
in
get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web
Oh, an OS.
applications.
Somebody's
Okay,
building
I can
OS
dig
and
it.
Rust.
My words
The
ring tight.
maintainer of
They
Pop
getting
OS
together on the
has
Thursday
another
nights.
open
Yeah,
source
when it comes to
Linux
rhyming, you can
distribution
call me the
that
new
he's
dude.
building
That's
in
few
Rust.
true lyrics while y'all broadcast on
That's what
YouTube.
it
So let's get
Or
it.
it wasn't
You
a
know my
Linux
lyrics are
distribution. It was
major.
another OS
All up in
that
the
he was
comments, they
building
got plenty
on
of
Rust.
haters, but they doing what they
Easy
doing.
what
Keep
coders
it
do.
ugly.
I
We
need
ending
to
every show
get
with
back
the
to my
saying
C
it's
code.
lovely. Let's
I
go.
need to contribute.
Hey, shout out to y'all.
Whatever
Peace to
happened?
the whole
What happened
squad,
with your
man.
makers class you were doing?
Honestly, it was fun, but I kind of felt like I kind of felt like it was more like I thought there was going to be more interaction and more like of a feedback loop, but it was just kind of like, hey, watch me go through the maker process, and then you guys do a maker process like it, and here's how I do things, and it was very informative, and I enjoyed it. I never did get my builds done because life and all that. So I liked it, but it wasn't really what I thought it was. There was a lot of you interact with your classmates on this, basically a bulletin board, and it was just the range of people and the conversations that were going on were just so wide. It was like, this, like, everybody, they weren't like even working on like the same concepts necessarily. So it was just like, it was hard to engage, and it was hard to get feedback, and all you're doing is watching him go through his process to build something. It was all right,
But he didn't participate in any of the chat or anything, like the.
So occasionally he would respond, and everybody would get notified when he responded to somebody's post. And so he would respond every now and then, but no, it wasn't like a regular thing at all. So it was just like, yeah, it was what it was. I mean, I might have built it up too much in my head.
I don't think so. I saw the pitch for it. I agreed. Like
the stuff I was pitching, like I wasn't getting any feedback from anybody, and I was still kind of figuring out. And it was, like I said, it's fun if you have the time to do it. That was another thing. The pace was very fast. Where like they make it sound like, oh, you only need a couple hours a week. No. You need like an hour or two a day, and sometimes more. And then that's not even counting the going out and buying stuff and building stuff and all that time you need. So the pace of it was way faster than I thought it was going to be. And I forget what was going on at the time, but I was breaking down on my free time at that time. I'm like, okay, this is going to have to get shelved now, because I do want to get back to like the ideas I was working on, and I did like his workflow, but yeah, I wouldn't do it again. If you're asking me if I would recommend somebody else to do it, just make sure you have time. That was the biggest thing was time, Well,
good, because I really wanted to do it, but I do not have time.
Yeah, the time it was a much bigger time commitment than I had to contribute.
It feels like one of those things where to get myself to do it, I'd have to have like a schedule at a physical place to go to do it.
You almost do. I mean, that definitely would make it easier.
They have that near me, but it's very expensive.
Like a maker shop.
It's not very expensive. It's just expensive.
I'm always so intimidated by him because like I don't, I just like the people that go to those places have done it for a while. They're really into it, and I assume it's like a meetup. Like when you first start programming, you don't want to go to a meetup because everybody there has been programming for a while, and you feel
I don't think it is. So this is a terrible comparison, but I joined a guild in Destiny 2, and I've been hopping on the Discord channel at night and just getting into the chat channel, and everyone is like so pleasant and so nice and so helpful, and I'm like, I'm on a run with them, and I keep dying over and over again, and I'm screwing up their scores, and I'm like apologizing for it, and they're like, dude, don't apologize. Everyone started somewhere. Like, you're doing fine. Well, just follow along.
That's exactly how meetups are. Hey, you come in as a new programmer, and people are very understanding and patient.
Yes, but some meetups get dominated by people who have stories to tell about Fox Pro.
So, John, have you gotten etching going yet? Because I really want my computer case etched.
Yeah,
I know. I saw your comment. I switched it to laser mode probably a month ago, if not more, and haven't touched it because I'm afraid. It's like I'm afraid of it, and I don't know why. Like I'm afraid of not understanding it, not doing it right, screwing it up. So it's almost like I got to get over that fear and just start. And there's great tutorials, and it comes
a huge impediment in 3D printing is the fear of the device.
But this isn't even 3D printing. It's on the 3D printer. And
but that's what I mean, is like those devices. It can be so intimidating.
But I didn't have that with the 3D printing. I just jumped in and did it. Where with this, it's like reading all the, like I'm part of the Snapmaker Facebook group and listening to, well, I did this wrong, or and everyone's like, it just takes time and patience and practice and this, and it's like, I just want it to work. And it comes with some material and a test file, and it's like, I should just start there. When it comes to the cases, I have concern on size. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do, like, does the front of your case just come off, or I don't know what you're thinking of needing done. I don't know how big your case is.
He's talking about the acrylic part, right?
Yeah, I got the same case. You just have a bigger version of my case, right? It's the same case.
Yeah, but you were talking about the front, and mine I think wraps around and the front doesn't come off.
No, I want the side. I want the side done. So where the mountains are, where the System 76 mountains are, I want the PHPUgly logo over top of that.
Gotcha.
Oh, on the laptop?
No, on the desktop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be easy.
It should be. It's just I got to get over that
color of this material, the refraction ratios of the material, get your fume hood put in, make sure the kids aren't around and the dog is
Really,
getting...
a fume hood?
I have an enclosure. I have a fan, and it's out in my garage.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, with the laser cutting, it's dangerous. I told you I burned myself with the thing.
I burned myself
crazy.
pretty good.
Oh, with just the 3D printer?
When I switched the power from the 3D printer head, I didn't turn it off. I just put the power into the laser head, assuming it would be off by default. As soon as I put the power in, it was aimed right at my palm, and laser came right on and burned me instantly. I was like, "Whoa!"
What? Did you get superpowers? Did you check? You should see if you should see if you can fly. Maybe jump off your roof. So when I was going through my whole cancer thing, one of the scans I had to do was this PET scan. And it was the freakiest thing because they basically pump you full of radiation. And I mean, the guy comes in, I'm sitting there in just a shorts and a t-shirt, and this guy comes in like the full suit with the mask on. He takes this metal syringe out of a metal box, and I'm like, should I be wearing something? And, no, you're fine. And pumps it and starts pumping this stuff into me. I'm like, man, if I get hit with electricity right now, I'm gonna definitely have superpower.
Did you do the same thing that they do when people are getting their legs amputated, where they take a Sharpie and they write this one on one and not this one on the other?
Yep, I absolutely did. Yeah,
you got to get that fine tip Sharpie for that.
No. My tumor was in my leg, so I made sure to. And actually, the doc came in and marked my leg as well. The big mass I had, the big tumor I had, was actually in my hip, just above my leg. So they were coming in to get that. But yeah, and I actually had that done when I had my Achilles repaired as well. They did the same thing. The doc, I marked it, and the doc went to mark it. He goes, "Hey, somebody who marked this?" I'm like, "I did." He goes, "Smart man." And then he signed it. I guess that's what he does. He signs it.
And then he just crossed it out and marked the other one. Oh, no, you think you know better than me? Oh, you're a doctor, Mr. Google?
Yeah, that freaks me out, man. Yeah. Yep.
All right. This has been fun.
This has been fun. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to do a rough edit on this one. I'm not even going to do artwork for the YouTube stuff until I get back. I'm just going to get this on the Simplecast and then peace out. Make sure
to get the Honey Badger ad playing the second time.
Oh, I'll probably cut that. I don't know.
Oh,
hey, we giggled and laughed, so I think you need to at least start it.
I think you should have it in there. Yeah, well, I only played it for 5 seconds.
Why are you giving me more editing stuff to do?
No, he's saying don't do anything. Don't go take it out.
No, because he has to add the commercial in.
I have to add
it's not in the copy.
Add that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Never mind. Oh, because it's not part of Zencastr. Gotcha.
Right. Although I could probably just grab the audio from YouTube this time.
Yeah, you could probably do that.
Okay, let's real quick before you guys go. I'm
gonna kill the stream. Thank you everybody for watching. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for all the participation in Discord. It really makes our day.
Yes.